Welcome to Make Change Fun and Easy with your happiness expert, Samia Bano. This is the podcast to help change makers, coaches, trainers, and healers break your chains of fear so you can create the impact and income you desire with fun and ease. Please make sure you subscribe to enjoy every episode. This podcast is sponsored by the Happiness 101 program. Hello, salam, shalom, namaste, sat sri akal, aloha, hola, ciao, bonjour, buna, and privyet. It's really good to be with you again, and I am feeling so happy and excited today because I have a special guest with us, and that is Mandy Nickerson, who is a heart activator, a life and health coach, singer, and transformational artist. That is so cool. Welcome, Mandy.
Thank you.
And
so great to be here.
Yes, I'm so happy to have you. And yes, please jump right in and tell us more about who you are and what you do.
Well, I am passionate about people connecting to who they are. Every single heart that's beating on this planet is here for a reason. And it's beautiful. And there are absolutely no mistakes. And I believe that to my core. And one of the songs that I wrote is When the Heart is Awakened. And for me, When the Heart is Awakened is about reconnecting to yourself, to your full beingness, and just being you 100%, because you are here for a reason. And when you connect to yourself and bring that into full life and full expression, then the world changes. We all have a part to play. And for me, the heart awakening is how I express that part and bringing that into full existence in each and every one of us. And that's what I'm here to help people do.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. And I so agree with you. Like you mentioned, different people might use different terminologies to describe this, but we all have this need. I think it's really one of the core fundamental human needs to find who we really truly are and sort of like live from that place, and I have also, in the recent years, come more and more to using this language of the heart to talk about that aspect of ourselves and that journey that we really long for. So tell me more, Mandy. Tell me more. I was listening to your song, the Heart Awakening song, and it was like just so beautiful. And you really I think one of the things you speak to in that song is what becomes possible when your heart awakens. Talk to me more about that.
Well, exactly. And, we all have, I call them labels. Our different titles are how we identify as mother or daughter or wife. And when the heart is awakening, you can see beyond those labels of our present existence, of where we are today, and see beyond your dreams to everything that's possible and all that will be when you step into that and follow your heart. Your heart is a great guide. I mean, when your heart gets a flutter when you meet someone, or you just feel that strong connection with the new person that you've come in contact with, is a lot of people say follow your bliss, but you feel it in your heart. I know that, when I connect with someone, when I see someone, you just get almost like the tingles, and some people call them truth bumps, right? When a message really lands. And taking those moments to connect to the heart And the beauty about the reference with the heart is it gives us a physical location in the body to focus. So it can bring the focus into the physical moment, into the body with a place to look at. So gets rid of distractions, right? I mean, some practices you'll focus on different things, or the darkness or the light or the whatever it is. Well, this is focusing in on the heart, connecting to all of the pieces of me, of you,
Yes.
within you, and just pulling all of that power, bringing your power out of the past worries, or the should have, could haves, would haves, bringing your power back from the future worries and into the present moment, where we each have the potential to make a difference in the world, a difference in our lives, for the people around us, for our communities, for everything. It's right now is where everything is possible. Focusing in on the heart, shining that light out of who we are and why we are here in this moment now, and the message that we each have to bring.
Hey, thanks for tuning into this episode. Hope you're getting value out of it. For your information, this episode has been sponsored by the Happiness 101 program. Are you a change maker, coach, trainer, or healer? Are chains of fear holding you back from making the impact and income you desire? Using a unique combination of positive psychology and the spiritual wisdom of our most effective change makers, the Happiness 101 program helps you break through your limiting beliefs and manifest the abundance and success you desire with fun and ease. Interested? Book a free Happiness 101 exploration call with me, your happiness expert, Samia Bano. Just use my online calendar link in the show notes. Now back to the show. Yeah. When you were talking about that physical place in our body as just a point that we can bring our focus to, it actually reminded me of one of the practices that I learned from one of my mentors that I learned about my heart from. And that was exactly it. Like, one of the practices that we do is like literally we put our hand on our heart. And it's sort of like, um, not to get very technical, I mean, but my mentor, distinguishes between the physical heart and the spiritual heart that we have. But, it's sort of like when you tell somebody, put your hand on your heart, people just naturally know where to go. And it does something to like where your attention is and how it makes you feel, and I know there's like so many cultures where, people recognize that, when you're feeling certain kinds of emotions and you're trying to express a certain kind of sense of connection or, gratitude, your hand just naturally goes there and people get it. Ah,
I love that, because it is such an unspoken gesture that people understand, right? To take that moment and put the hand on the heart.
Yeah.
And it almost invites a pause, which is perfect, is it allows the time you put your hand on your heart, you've got that physical connection, that pause, and that reflection too. Just taking in the moment, taking in the breath. I mean, that comes automatic to me, so maybe it's not automatic to everyone, but it is possibly a trained response, but it is one that people recognize as some form of pause.
Yes, I think insofar as like people may need a little bit of training in that is only because I think just the way that our culture, our society has sort of evolved over the last however many chunks of time you want to think about. So much of the focus has just come to, okay, like learn about your mind and how the mind works, and we spend literally decades of our lives going through schooling and prioritizing that. And in this quest, we have sort of become disconnected and forgotten, and become distant from those practices that, just I think we intuitively connect with, and that keep us connected with our heart. And so things sometimes become a little fuzzy in that area and in that direction, and we may not have conscious training and awareness and thinking about matters of the heart and how you're connected to it or not, or how you do connect with it if you were to want to connect with it. But I know, like for me, when I first started working with my teacher that I was learning about my heart with, it was like, this experience of coming home. Everything that my teacher was saying and expressing, I was like, oh, in some ways, what you're saying is different and new. But in some ways, it's like, I've always known this. And I just know what you're saying is true because I can feel the truth of it and it rings true, and there's just like, yeah, you can just feel it. And then there's no argument that's needed. There's no convincing that's needed because you just realize that, so true. And I've known this.
Oh, exactly. And
Yeah.
it's all about reconnecting to the heart of who you are, right? And that's really what when the heart is awakened is about, is reconnecting to the heart of who you are and coming home to you, right? In all your fullness, in the pieces. We have experiences in our lives. I almost look at it as locking it away in a cupboard because we don't want to feel that or think that or whatnot. But it's coming home and really seeing all the beauty of you, of yourself, of your heart, of your essence, of your being. And so that's what that's about. And for me, music has been part of my life. It's just, I say music runs through my veins. Is what I tell people. The vibration of it, the sound of it. We have a heartbeat, right? It's all around us. And I love to use music to connect because music it crosses all cultures. It speaks louder than words, right? It's something that we all understand, and it can break down barriers. And that's one of the reasons I use song. And I also use song in my own practices for myself as a reset, as a centering, as a coming home to me, as a coming into this present moment, as opposed to being diverted in whatever direction. And life with me is sometimes like a High School Musical or La La Land, shall we say, because there's 1,000 songs with 1,000 messages for 1,000 moments that can bring us insights and connection and intuition and an elevated emotion, or whatever emotion that you want to feel. You can find the music that brings that out into your present experience, so you can reset into whatever you choose.
Yes. You make me think about another really important lesson that I've learned about the heart, and that is that really the language of the heart is feeling. And really that's where music, I mean, connects with us too. It's like it expresses our feelings, it touches our feelings, it activates our feelings. So it's like they do so much, like go together. It makes total sense. You want to connect with your heart, you want to activate your heart, you want to awaken your heart. Oh my gosh. And so, of course, music, I mean, is like such a beautiful gift for us to make that, facilitate that happening with more fun and ease.
Oh, exactly. And I saw an image that someone had posted, and it was someone playing the guitar and singing. And then a little
Mm-hmm.
girl was standing in the street, like arms spread wide, legs. And it just said, some people hear music, some people feel it. Right. And, when we connect with our heart, as you mentioned, putting your hand on your heart and just listening to the sounds and the vibration and the energy around us and feeling into them and allowing ourselves to open up to all the messages that are out there. There's so many messages, so many synchronicities if we slow down to listen. You go outside into nature and listen. It's quite an orchestra of sounds and music. And then, with that connection and that coming home to self and coming home to the present moment and being fully aware of what's going on, right? Noticing the wind in the trees, noticing those little sounds and feelings, right? The sensations in the body, because, there's a reason why they say your gut instinct.
Yeah.
Well, you feel it and there's so many messages when we tune into ourselves, when we tune into our heart, that we can get guidance towards our next steps, right? And to our movement. So one of the other resets that I do with that whole connecting to self and slowing down and pausing and breathing and those things and music to reset to whatever my attention is for the moment is movement, right? I mean, movement is so powerful. And if you're listening to music, or you close your eyes and you put your hand in your heart and you're truly listening and tuning in, you'll find most likely, now, I mean, maybe I'm an oddball, but I don't think so. You'll start moving, right? Because it's natural to move and the body wants to move, and we want to move in forward motion and momentum. So that's the other thing that I tell people: move, celebrate, right? Take that moment to pause and connect and find that song, that message that you love, and celebrate what you've accomplished. Celebrate what's going on. Be grateful for this moment, for waking up this morning, for the gift of the sunshine and the connection of a person that you've never met before, that you get in contact with, like talking with you today. I mean, we spoke for the first time last week and I was like, okay, yes, I see you, right? And celebrating that. So, there's a reason why athletes have their little dance that they do when they celebrate a win and whatnot. And there's a reason why we have dance in so many of our cultures for so many different life passings that happen, a birth, a wedding, even the passing of an individual is celebrating the life of the individual and the impact that they've had. So movement is another one too. Because everything in our bodies is moving constantly.
Oh my gosh, that is so true. That is so true. It's like if movement was to stop, like literally life would stop. I mean, if you think at the most fundamental level, it's like really the movement of energy, and including in our bodies and in our being. So if there was no movement, there'd be no growth, there'd be no learning, but there'd literally also be no life. Ah, and now, oh my gosh, you keep making me think about all the things I've been learning with my teacher. Oh, okay, so you just made me think about a couple of things with regards to movement. First, it's like, um, you know, um, for like years and years, I now was very used to kind of practicing different forms of meditation, but pretty much all the forms of meditation that I was practicing were very sort of mind oriented and sort of like about me sitting in stillness and not moving and doing different things with my mind until I met with my teacher and my mentor with whom I started learning about the heart. And yes, we have some practices in that context where we also cultivate silence and stillness. But this was the first time for me when I had a teacher who was like, that's good and keep doing it. And you also need to learn how to move in meditation. And I mean, and I was like, in some ways, like, I was like, I can't believe I never connected with this idea before, never practiced with this. This whole thing I was sharing before about like coming home, and just so in some ways, what he was saying was surprising, but in other ways, I'm like, I can't believe I didn't, I didn't do this or think about this before myself. But the practice that he started with, in terms of having us practice moving meditation, was just walking with more mindfulness and intention. And, um, you know, initially, like, there was no music that they added to the movement because they just wanted us to, like, really become very focused and consciously aware of how we're moving when we're walking, because there's so much that we take for granted about it. But once, we reached a certain level of competence with that conscious awareness of how we're moving our bodies and how we're holding our bodies and how we're balancing our bodies as we walk, and then he was like, okay, we can add some music now and we can add some other aspects of rhythm and so forth. And he was like, you'll see, this is going to be one of the best companion practices you can do to other practices that activate your heart and connect you to your heart and help you use your heart, because there's just this, like, for example, when I used to think about the idea of relaxation and I was just like trying to relax from here, I thought I was relaxing. I really did. And I thought I'd learned to do it really well until I started doing this walking, meditation, moving practice. And then, it was like, oh no, I'm holding here on my body and holding stress in that muscle and this tension and that tension that was all being held in my body. And until I started moving it and trying to move with the intention of moving in a more relaxed and natural way. And, I didn't even realize how challenging that was for me, because when we were moving, my teacher was like, okay, if you are moving in a truly relaxed and natural way, you would move like this, like this, like this, and you would experience, a balance in your body in terms of, you wouldn't have more weight on this side versus that, and like all these different little cues that he helped us to be aware of. And I was like, whoa, like, how am I so out of balance and not able to do these seemingly simple things in terms of moving with natural, relaxed ease? And so it just really, really awakened me. And so just practicing through movement, how to be more relaxed and natural is just totally up leveled the whole practice and my capacity. Like there's no way if I just continued to stay here that I would have been able to grow in these ways that I'm now experiencing growth, because I'm also practicing through movement this process of letting go, and but not just letting go, but like letting go from here, like from the heart, by being more connected to the heart and more aware of the beautiful gifts that the heart has to give us.
Oh, exactly. And any practice, walking meditation and those types of things too, and developing that awareness it gives us insights too into ways that we hold ourselves back. Right? In the ways that we tense up and tighten and protect, and those fight or flight responses, and those things that happen without the mind being involved, right? Those automated activities. And someone once said that, for those who practice yoga or meditation or anything, those practices are there so you can practice them and learn them and hone your skills. But the goal is to take them off the mat and into every moment of your life. Right? To live your life in a meditation space, in a space where you're truly and fully connected to everything that is, to everything that's around you, and everything that's possible. Living from your heart, from your full beingness, from your full expression and your passion and your purpose. And that's what the practices are for, is to give us the opportunity, right? That's our playground. And then we bring it into the world and bring that whole essence, that feeling, that vibration into the spaces. And as we do that more and more and more, just walking into a room elevates the vibration in the space and brings in even more potential. And the thing is, you never know who's watching you. There's always someone watching. As you're watching someone else to get advice, as we have mentors and we have coaches and people that we look to, there's also people looking to us. And as we deepen our practice, we not only deepen it for ourselves, but we deepen it for the people around us. And that's kind of one of my second songs, is Life of Legend. And, it's coming into full expression of me. Here I am. This is me, being all that I can be. And living my life of legend. The reason that I'm living my life of legend is not for me, just for me. Yes, I will grow and I will become more, but it's so that someone else can believe, right? So that they can unfurl and come out of their cocoon and spread their wings and fly, right? So that their life inspires them of what's even more possible, and it just ripples and ripples and ripples, and it's beautiful, because we are one. Love is the answer. Heart is the answer.
Yes.
And music is a great way to get there.
Indeed. You're speaking to the right people, because like you talk about living the life of a legend. I talk about change makers, the community that we are speaking to now, being a community of change makers. And that's exactly who a change maker is, that we don't just care about making things better for ourselves. We also want to create change in the world, so we can bring everyone along with us. It's like, I want for others, I love for others, but I love for myself. And that is really, like anybody who has that orientation, who has that motivation, whether you realize it or not, that comes from your heart. That comes from your heart. I don't think that is something our mind can really prioritize. Um, but it's like really that value, if you have it, it's coming from your heart.
Yeah.
Tell me more about the Life of a Legend, because that's another really super amazing, beautiful song that you have that I really, really love. Um, is and how just tell me a little bit more, I guess, also about how you actually bring all of this into the work that you do with your people as a life and health coach.
Well, Life of Legend is about embracing who you are and showing yourself to the world as you are, right? And because we're all perfectly imperfect, and we have our gifts and our whatnot to bring to the world, and we're all. I mean, I love looking at the caterpillar, right? I mean, that transformation, and that's the transformation that we each go through in various different stages of our lives. And so Life of Legend is about, your wings are ready. Fly, right? And it's in flying that we grow stronger, and we attract our tribe and our people. And in my health coaching practice, is my focus is typically on women 40 and over, just embracing and reawakening and reconnecting to the fabulousness of who they are, and reigniting their passion for their impact in the world, and for making a difference, for making the change. Because each of us, it starts with us, right? If there's something I see that I don't like, then take a look and see, okay, what opportunity is this showing me, bringing to light an area, a next step that I can take towards creating that vision, creating that world, creating that reality that I see for me, for my people, for my friends, my family, everyone around, because I saw it. It's my responsibility to take the steps, because it came into my awareness. Therefore, there's something that I can do. We are all powerful, right? And when we see something and take the steps and choose to take the steps and make the effort and do the things to right or wrong, or put a smile on someone else's face, right? I mean, speaking of a smile, off on a tangent a little bit, but a simple smile could turn someone's life around, right? It could be exactly what they needed in that moment. And that bubbles up from the heart, right? It's not one of those fake plaster on smiles that you're just doing it because someone told you should smile, but the smile that bubbles up from the heart and shines through the eyes, and just following those emotions and staying in the gratitude, and taking action, right? And moving towards that world that we wish to create.
Indeed. You remind me of all of these movies that I've seen where, they're focusing on the character of somebody that has this sort of joyful perspective on life, and they're connected clearly to someone who's like connected with their heart, and they're compassionate and they're loving, and they come into some space and everyone's lives transformed and changes. Like, whether it's a funny movie like The Elf comes in, and or other more other movies that have a similar you have that similar message of even a single person has the power to change the world. And I mean, in fact, isn't there who said it, that ultimately it is just uh, you know the it's never the crowd ultimately that is changing things. It's like it comes down to each individual, like making that commitment to act in alignment with our hearts, and to act with compassion and love, and to spread that out. And that is really what creates the change. But just the power of, yeah, even if you are the starting point, like, that is a seriously valuable role to play. That's a seriously valuable role to play, and can have so much so much impact. And sometimes we don't realize it. And I know, like, for me, um I was for a few years like working in a position at an organization where um I mean, I was mostly doing behind the scenes work, helping organize things there. And I was like not always, getting acknowledgement or feedback in terms of the impact that I was having, that people were feeling. But I continue to do that work because I believed in the mission of the organization, and I wanted to contribute to having it move forward, and so on and so forth. And I went in, and I was happy, and I did my best to maintain a positive energy for myself and all of that good stuff. And like one of the like times when uh, you know somebody did there somebody actually came in, and they were doing a research project, and they were like interviewing like all the different, like, I got interviewed as part of the organization. They interviewed other people in the organization. They interviewed the clients that we were working with in the organization. And then later on, the researcher told me that so many people that she interviewed mentioned me, and said how much they felt impacted, and that they had such a positive experience in the organization because of my presence and my work there. Like, oh, so like, even though like I didn't always get that feedback verbally, and so forth, but like, I was making an impact, um and it made a difference, and it just made me so happy to know and realize that. And it just that experience like continues to motivate me now to even continue doing what I do, and just continue to do it with the most happy, joyful energy, not in a made up way, but in a genuine way. And it really motivates me to maintain that for myself, and keep growing that for myself, so I can continue to spread that energy out, whether I get immediate or feedback on that or not. So,
Right. And I mean, each and every individual person is powerful. And the impact that we have impact on the world around us in every single moment, whether we're in a space by ourselves or in a room with multiple people, our families. We're touching lives in one way or another, and living our truth and truly embracing who we are speaks volumes. And you know what? It creates the space for others to do the same.
Yes.
Right? And well, it's like dropping a stone into a still pond.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, those ripples just keep going out and out and out and out. And, you know, oftentimes people who have contributed so much, maybe they don't know, but, you know, there's different songs where a stranger comes up to an individual at the end of their life and says, you know, you had the biggest impact on my life. When I was young, you were there, and I saw what you went through, and I've seen what you've overcome, what you've created, and what you've built, and it's inspired me. Thank you.
Indeed.
Right. And it's also, you know, if we see beauty in another person or an action in another person too, is acknowledging them too, and saying thank you, and spreading that love. You know, the I see yous and I appreciate yous.
You just made me think about a teaching of the Prophet Muhammad. And it's like such a beautiful teaching. He said, when you feel love for your brother or sister, and he means not like literal, just blood relatives, but like, you know, your brothers and sisters in humanity and in faith, it's like, let them know. Tell them that you love them, you know?
Yes. Yes. So, you know, stop, smell the roses, right? And come back into, because in life, in the society, what we've been trained is rush and rush and rush until life's no fun. As one of the songs, the lines that I like to, you know, it's slow down and see what's around you, appreciate them, express the things that you love. I mean, if you see a flower and it takes your breath away, enjoy it.
Yes.
Right? And remember that life's a dance. We learn as we go. And you know, if you're doing whatever dance it is, there are times when the dance does take a step back.
Yes.
There are times when the dance moves in a circle, right?
Right.
And just with the ebb and the flow of the dance, of the music of life, and just bringing the joy into the moments. And I mean, not all moments are joyful, but we can bring the music in. And sometimes it is, you know, there's music for those moments that are down. Those moments that aren't exciting, those moments that we would rather not repeat. And there's music for that too. And sometimes the best music is the music of nature. Go sit by a river. Go sit by the ocean. Just listen to the water.
Yes.
To calm and to soothe.
Indeed. Indeed. And you know, like, even if that's something that, if you don't live near the water, like a natural body of water, you know, you can bring in a little water fountain and put it in your room and appreciate the sound of the water if that's your thing. Or just, you know, I will say, like, one of the things that I find in my space is like, a lot of times I just don't notice, but when I take a moment to be still and to notice, I can actually hear birds. And sometimes I mean, I'm not expert by any means. Like, I can't always distinguish between, oh, it's this bird versus that bird. But, you know, just hearing the birds and appreciating what they are and what they bring to us and the contribution that they make to our ecology and environment and the beauty that they add. I mean, you know, it's just another thing to be grateful for, another aspect of nature to connect with. And, you know, I mean, hopefully, whoever you are, wherever you are, you know, you can find some part of nature to connect with, even if it's just that blade of grass that's broken through the concrete cracks.
peering out your window, watching the clouds for a few moments
Yes,
as they sail
indeed,
by. And
indeed.
but we each individually have a part to play, right?
Yeah.
And all of the life on this planet contributes to the rest of life on this planet.
Yes.
And so I encourage people to step into the heart of who they are and truly get to know themselves and express their true selves out into the world.
Yes.
And to be, right?
Oh,
And
Mandy. Oh, oh. We could keep talking, and unfortunately, we have to start wrapping up for today. Thank you so much for taking this time to be with us today and sharing your beautiful wisdom and teaching. Is there any last thoughts, words that you want to share with us right now?
Well, when your heart is awakened, when you come home to you, that's when you truly begin to live your purpose and your true impact and truly make a difference, a change maker, a light bringer, a peacekeeper, a lighthouse.
Yeah.
Right, for those who are in a storm.
Indeed.
Right, in that moment. And I encourage, the simple act of putting your hand on your heart and just stopping to breathe and pause for a moment can change your entire day. Right, when your heart is racing, when things seem out of control, just hand on heart and going into yourself and just being with you for a moment and seeing what comes up and moving from that place of heart, that place of center, of power and of energy and beauty and connectedness, and move forward through whatever storm or beautiful sunny day that you're experiencing, and just bring more of you into the world. You're here for a reason.
Yes. All right. So with those very, very inspiring and heartfelt words, I just want to remind you, our listeners, to make sure you check the show notes, because we will be dropping Mandy's links there so you can connect with her whenever you want that help and support to activate your heart, get some, life and health coaching, and get it in a context where you're working with a wonderful, amazing, transformational artist and singer, and bring more music and joy into your life in the whole process. So until we connect next time, I just wish you lots and lots of peace and joy.